Well, I'm back in my office here in Canfield, and I wanted to do a little bit of a follow-up on when I gave the tour of this office one time on video. I mentioned my relative who had served in the Civil War, and his name was Hiram Gilbert, and he was my great-great-great-grandfather on my mother's side. And Hiram lived till he was 91, but he had enlisted in the 6th U.S. Cavalry in 1861 and served 3 years during the Civil War, fighting for the Union. Now, a couple interesting facts about that are that he was from Niles, and there were two 6th Cavalries during the Civil War. One was the 6th U.S. Cavalry, and the other was the 6th Ohio Cavalry. And most people thought that he enlisted in the 6th Ohio Cavalry, which was a volunteer cavalry unit, which was actually put together in Warren, Ohio, again, where he was from, that area. But he and his brother, Austin, actually had went down to Pittsburgh and enlisted in the 6th U.S. Cavalry, which was the first regular Army cavalry unit that was put together during the Civil War after Lincoln had called for volunteers, but I think they even went a little further and wanted to go into the regular cavalry, and they were both horsemen. And so he and his brother enlisted in the 6th U.S. Cavalry down in Pittsburgh and served at many battles throughout the Civil War. His brother, in fact, was captured outside of Gettysburg the day after the battle and was later on exchanged. Hiram went on to finish the Civil War. He was not wounded, but as I looked through and researched his military papers, found out that at several times he was applying for additional military aid because he had such problems with his feet. And in the actual applications, it talked about how he and his brother, their feet would be wet for days on end, and they were wet for days and days, and he thinks that caused the problem that he had with his feet and his legs. Now, he was a man of small comments, little words. I say, didn't want to say a lot, didn't want to brag a lot. And what I learned from my grandfather was that there never was much talked about what happened during the war. But as we researched more and found out a little bit more about him and his brother, we found out there was a cousin of theirs who had also enlisted at the same time, who was captured and actually died in Andersonville in the prison camp down south. And we actually have a picture of his headstone. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to locate that yet, and when I can find that picture among my mother's effects and memorabilia down at her house, I may do a little story about him as well. But I just think it's great to talk about Hiram because there were so many of these guys that answered that call and took off and hung in there through 3 years, and that was a long time during the Civil War. The odds weren't with you to last that long. So very proud to be from his family and to be able to call him my great-great-great-grandfather.